Hi and welcome back to Cozy Reads. If you're new here, hello. Today I thought I'd do a quick wrap up of the videos that I have read in March. Now, bear with me, I have still got a couple of days left. I'm in the middle of 2 books that I'm sure I'll finish by now. So I am still in the middle of Stand Up Guy and Haven't They Grown? So I can't give my final thoughts on those, but I have started them. I have done a little bit of a list of the books, just in case I've forgotten them. So, I did a selection for my March TBR, and on reflection, I think I definitely choose less books because I feel like I've had less options to mood read. So I do have Behind the Net, which I didn't get to, and I feel like I just had too many books that I had 2 book club books. I gave myself 8 books on the TBR, that's 10 books, and I usually read 12 a month, so it wasn't even a lot of room to mood read, so I am, definitely gonna choose less books. So let's get started. I'm gonna use my Book Moritami. I love this app. It just keeps track of my reading, and it also helps remind me what score I gave them. So I'm gonna try and do this a little bit quicker. This is gonna be in no particular order. I did finish Light Lark, and I really enjoyed Light Lark. I believe I gave it 4.5 stars. I think it was a bit slower to get into, but actually, once I got into it, I was gripped. I wanted to know more. I went to pick up Night of Bane the next day because I want to continue the series sooner rather than later. Definitely recommend Light Lark, really enjoyed it. I also read, this one was a bit of a surprise for me. So my roommate is a vampire, and if you saw my March picking, I was not looking forward to reading this book, I'll be honest. I thought it might have been a bit of a dud pickup, but it ended up being a bit of a surprise. I really enjoyed the dynamic between the 2 characters. I actually found myself wanting to continue the story, and to the point where I was disappointed when I realised the sequel didn't follow them. So I did not expect that, but it was a little bit of a surprise win. I'm definitely gonna have to look, I think she's called, in fact, it's just up here, so I can just have a little bit of a stretch. So yeah, Jenna Levine, I'm definitely gonna have to see about picking up another one of her books. Another book that I read this month, sticking to that sort of romance genre, is Happy Place by Emily Henry. Now, this one was a bit of a mixed bag. I absolutely loved Funny Story, which is the only other Emily Henry I've read, but I do own another one of her books. I think I only rated Happy Place 3.5 stars. I see people rave about Happy Place everywhere and say it's their die-hard book. It didn't grip me, but I suppose we all have different reading tastes. I wasn't a fan of the flashbacks. I feel like they really disengaged me from the story. So it did get to the point nearer to the end where I feel like I was skim reading the flashbacks because they were just taking me out of the story. I didn't feel like they added to the relationship between the 2 that much, because you sort of had the flashback and then they'd sort of hint to it anyway, so I thought it wasn't really needed. I did get really close to DNFing actually, and then I persisted with it. By the end, I was, loving Win and Harriet. I liked the ending. It took me a while to get there. Another book that I've read this month, another romance there, sticking with it. I did finally read Icebreaker. I think this one is a bit of a mixed bag. Some people love it, some people hate it. I thought it was alright. As far as sports romances go, I did rate it 3.5 stars. I did prefer Wildfire to Icebreaker, but thought it was okay. I found Stassi, is he Nate? Yeah, a little bit irritating at times. I sort of feel like I want to almost scream through the book and just say, get on. Like, you're arguing over pathetic things, just get over it. But, it was fine. I had a good enough time. Yeah, it was okay. It's a basic sports romance. I am going to read Daydream by Hannah Grace because I do own that as well. Yeah, we're going to follow Henry in this one, who's made it to captain. Curious to see how that's going to go. Moving away from romances, I have got a couple of fantasy books as well. So this month has been an interesting one for fantasy. It's been a bit of a mixed bag. I read Crimson Moth, which is for my fantasy book club. Loved it. Got Rebel Witch. Can't wait to delve into that. I had the book club tonight, so I haven't picked up Rebel Witch yet because I didn't want to accidentally spoil a bit from Rebel Witch by accident. So I'm sure once I come back from book club tonight, I will hopefully be picking up Rebel Witch. I really enjoyed the premise. I've not really been into witches. Really enjoyed it. I found myself, forgotten her name now. I'm gonna have to, I can't look at her. I can actually because I got Rebel Witch. I was gonna say I can't look at her name because it's in my car because I'd like to bring it with me to refresh my memory. Rune, that was her name. So yeah, I was on board with Rune as a character. The end was a bit chaotic, I will say. At the end, like chapter was, and a couple of chapters probably was a bit chaotic and there was a lot going on. I mean, good to see where their relationship goes. I was sold on Gideon. Rune by the end, I was a bit like, oh, what are you doing? Gideon stole my heart, honestly. Yeah, I felt like I did a 180 on him. I wasn't keen on him at the start. Did a complete 180. He's up there for book boyfriend. So I think Crimson Moth, if you're American, is called Heartless Hunter. So I think Crimson Moth was the original title she wanted, but her publishers thought Heartless Hunter would do better, but she changed it for European audiences, I believe. I will push these back. I've made my bookshelves very scruffy there. Another fantasy book I read this month was Glow of the Everflame. This one was big. Let me see if I can I reach it from here? Just for context. Spark of the Everflame, love. Glow of the Everflame was okay. Heat of the Everflame, the third one. What is happening with these books? They're getting bigger and bigger. I enjoyed Glow of the Everflame, but I do feel like it was lacking somewhat. I feel like it was very repetitive. There wasn't a great deal that happened. I feel like you could have skipped at least a third of that book and you would have been able to catch up. DM is... she got a bit whiny. She got very whiny by the end. She was not really taking any accountability for her own actions. And oh my goodness, I could have screamed at her. Like, Henry is not the boy for you. He's clearly not the boy for you. He's toxic. Why are we still going round in this circle? Why? Tell me why ain't nothing but a party. Anyway, I did go into more detail about that on the 24-hour challenge that I did. That will come out at some point. But yeah, it took a lot of patience for me to Glow of the Everflame, which it makes me nervous for Heat of the Everflame. I did already had it on pre-order because I loved Spark of the Everflame that much that I ordered Glow of the Everflame and pre-ordered Heat of the Everflame, so I had it as soon as it came out. Although it was hit Amazon again, just say it started off as a bookseller, why you check my books. But yeah, what's he called? Yeah, Luther. Luther started off as this hot, like, mysterious guy, and then he was a bit obscene by the end. So I'm hoping that he also gets back to his roots a little bit. So yeah, I am hoping that Luther improves, and that might encourage me to carry on the series if he continues the way he is and DM continues to be a little brat. May have to say goodbye to that series. We will see. We have had a number of DNFs. It's been a bit of a sad one. So Twin Crowns, which beautiful cover. It does have an interesting plot. I will say that. It has an interesting plot. I enjoy how it's written. I got about 120 pages in by the end, but I just felt too old for it. I think it's definitely in that teen age bracket. And yeah, I just felt too old for it. So I'm going to give that to my friend. She's got a younger sister. I'm sure she will enjoy it. I'm going to go let it have another life somewhere else. Another DNF which really surprised me was A City of Stardust. I was a bit gutted because my copy is beautiful. It's a beautiful cover. It's got beautiful sprayed edges. Beautiful. But I just detested the writing style. I've never disliked the writing of a book so much. I could not get into it at all. I just did not enjoy it. I tried audiobooking it as well because it was on Spotify, and if you don't know, you can get certain hours, I think it's 16 hours free. You can get 16 hours audiobooks included with your Spotify Premium if you're the main account holder. I even tried to audiobook it, listened to it for about an hour and a half. I thought I can't save it for audiobook. I can't stand physically reading it. So unfortunately, that one is getting donated and going to live elsewhere. But sometimes it's a good thing that you realise actually that book's maybe not for me, and it means that you can get onto some other books a bit sooner. Just to keep up this sort of fantasy sadness that's gone on this month, clearly, I did also read Godkiller. Actually, Godkiller bar the very end. Yeah, it wasn't for me. I wasn't enjoying it. I think I've not really into just the whole world building, and I just thought the plot was silly. I didn't enjoy the characters, and then I just sort of thought, who am I reading this for? So I did try and do that again in my 24-hour challenge. I even switched the audiobook while I was walking the dog in the woods, and it just wasn't for me. And I'm really trying this year not to just read a book just to finish it, and actually try and make sure that I'm enjoying what I'm reading, and if I'm not, then moving that book on, it can go have another life somewhere else with someone else. Unfortunately, I did unhaul both Godkiller and Sunbringer, although they've not gone very far. My husband kind of was interested in them, so they've gone to his bookshelves downstairs. I'm sure he will get to them at some point. He is a reader, but he doesn't read as much as me, so he will get to them at some point. Maybe at some point I'll let you know what he thinks of them. It has been a successful month for thrillers though. So, having a look, I have read, so I love Freida McFadden. I've read a lot of books. Yeah, I think she's a quick read. Always tries to have a plot twist in there at the end. Read The Crash, which follows our main character is pregnant. She's going to go and visit her brother and she gets caught up in a snowstorm. Her car crashes and she has a man that comes to her aid. He takes her to his house with his wife there, and it sort of becomes, are they actually trying to help or are they not? More is revealed obviously as you read, but yeah, I think it was a good enough time. Definitely not my most favourite Freida McFadden, but I still gave it 4 stars. I think I had a good enough time. But it was, yeah, decent. I don't think I ever dislike a Freida McFadden book. One that was a bit of a surprise this month, I read Someone in the Attic, and I have given this to my friend because some of my thrillers, some of the thrillers, I'll be honest, I probably keep as a bit of a trophy. Some I would recommend and give out from my library with the hope of getting them back. And there's other thrillers that I think actually I'd maybe like to read that again and see if I could figure it out a bit earlier on. But I don't think I could with Someone in the Attic actually, mainly because I did figure it out quite early on. But I enjoyed watching it unravel. So Someone in the Attic, as I assume, is basically this woman and her daughter see these videos online that it appears that somebody is coming out of their attic, and they look in the attic, nobody's there, but more videos keep coming. And you can imagine just how unnerving it would be if you're sat at home, you're watching these videos and you know someone's been in your house, and that feeling of paranoia that you must get. It was an interesting time, would recommend it. I'm actually putting it in the pile to give to my friend. She doesn't read a lot of thrillers, so I'm hoping that she enjoys it. We shall see. I also have finally read a Steve Kavanagh book. Despite having 4 of them, I finally read one. And I read Kill for Me, Kill for You, which is the oldest Steve Kavanagh on my bookshelves. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was pleasant. You follow 2 different characters' point of views. You sort of see how, and I figured they would merge at one point. I would not have guessed at the start at all how they were going to merge. Enjoyed the book. You also get, as well as the 2 characters actually, eventually you do get some other point of views in there as like an odd chapter. I think I definitely enjoyed his writing style. I feel like he didn't focus too much on the irrelevant things, and he kept the pace going. So I am eager to try another Steve Kavanagh book because I have been impressed. And luckily for me, I've got 3 more on my bookshelves to try. Final book I've read is The Night Counsellor, and I actually met the author recently in my book club. Yeah, I thought it was a good book. It's not something I would typically pick up. I don't usually do sort of period books. It was set in the 1950s, but it's made me think maybe I need to give them another go. It was a good time. I will say I predicted the whole second half of the book. So about page 180, I usually post it to the book club just so I remember what happened in the book. But I wrote down what I thought was going to happen, and I was pretty much spot on. You follow 2 characters. One is Georgina, one is Jane. And Jane is the one we're following in sort of the present time of the book. She is a counsellor, and she ends up having to do a lot of work at night, in the night counsellor, and it's set in a mental institution. Jane is basically a counsellor working with patient A, who is mute, she's unresponsive, but she's linked to a dead body and a murder. So Jane is trying to work with her to find out how this dead body came to be, what her connection is, and yeah, you sort of follow on that story. I would definitely try out her books again. She's obviously an author now that's on my radar. I did give it 3.5 stars. I think it was okay. It was a good time. I enjoyed reading. It wasn't, oh my goodness, this is amazing, this is great. But it was a good enough time. And she was an absolutely lovely woman. I hope, she has every success in her writing career, and I will, I'm sure, read her next book. I am actually tempted to go and read her first book, because she's got Night Counsellor, another one out, and then she's working on book 3. I had a really successful reading month, even though I've actually had quite a few days where I just haven't done any reading at all. I've been quite busy. So yeah, interested, especially because both mine and my husband's birthdays, and my mum and my stepdad's are all in March, so it just gets really busy. But I did read 11 books this month, which should be 13 by the end of the month, because I've still got a few days left. So I'm not counting my DNF books, because I feel like I don't usually count them. Pretty successful reading month. If you've read any of these books, please let me know what you thought in the comment section below. I hope you have an absolutely great day. Bye for now.